We're going to touch briefly on the Elliott wave model of financial price fluctuation. This is a picture that R.N. Elliott showed in 1940, announcing, as he had originally in 1938, the stock market is a fractal. He didn't use that word because he didn't coin it, but he showed this chart, and he said the patterns I see on the very small degree half-hour chart that I keep myself is the same that I see on the daily, the weekly, and the monthly, and the yearly. And he had stock prices going back to 1857, so he had a lot of data to look at. This is a picture that Benoit Mandelbrot showed in his 1999 article in Scientific American. Very similar idea. He proved mathematically that the stock market is a fractal. He did not agree that there was a specific pattern to it, but I would draw your attention to one thing. He used 3 wave subdivisions to show his example. If you do that, you have to arbitrarily impose a trend on it to make it go somewhere in a direction. R.N. Elliott's picture of 5 waves up, 3 waves down takes into account a trend and provides it naturally. But anyway, this is a model, because the market is a fractal, that can help us understand how social mood fluctuates. Now I'm going to take a little quick sideline here because there's been so much talk about bubbles recently, and you know we're probably through the last one because academia has been writing a lot of papers on bubbles. How does the wave model relate to bubble theories? Most bubble theories are theories of qualitative difference. They basically say most of the time people are rational and they're pricing everything as they should, but every now and then, for some reason we can't quite explain, they go a little bit crazy. And they all herd, they buy a bunch of stuff and everything crashes, and then they go back to normal. And I think this model is completely flawed because the Elliott wave model says, no, really this is simply a quantitative difference, not a qualitative difference. The manias and bubbles are simply the 5th wave at a very large degree. We had the canal mania back in the 1830s, we had a stock mania in the 1920s, and we've had the asset mania that's been going on ever since 1982, and all of these are 5th waves. In fact, you can see that note toward the right, middle right of the chart. We actually predicted a mania back in 1983. We said this is the 5th wave, it's going to be a mania. Even we had no idea how big it would get, but we still knew a mania was coming. So bubbles are simply part of the natural process, that's all. And the reason they call them bubbles is because they look different to people, because the qualitative result is different. At a major degree, it sucks in a lot of new players. As we already saw, high prices actually mean more participants, not fewer. And then comes the biggest correction since the start because it's the 5th wave. Looks like a bubble in a crash. It is a bubble in a crash, but it's just part of the system. So under the Elliott wave model, there are no exogenous shocks, no exogenous triggers, no exogenous catalysts, all these favorite words people like to say, oh, something's going to happen to make something change trend. And this one is important to me because it took me a long time to realize there's no feedback loop. Events don't happen in feedback into the psychology. It's unidirectional from social mood to social action. That's it. There are no qualitative changes in motivation, only in result. The system provides its own shocks. There's no such thing as a terror shock, an oil shock, or any of the other things. The system is plenty good at providing shocks. Price changes are not random, but adhere to an organizing principle. And therefore, prices are probabilistically predictable. That's why we're all in this room, because people who believe in the AMH say, news is predictable, prices aren't predictable, why are you wasting your time? This is a theoretical basis for why you should spend some time at it.